So I haven't tried PlayStation Now yet, but I did a bunch of research on it, and they did it's a fantastic thing. Where originally when it first came out, we were promised 100 games, like not all exclusive. Well, exclusive. They say PlayStation 3, like PlayStation 3 games,
Hmm.
but some of them were cross platform, so you could have played them on other consoles. But we were promised that when it first came out, 100 games, and we're now at over 400, and it's still growing. And
Okay.
there's tons and tons of them on there, and some people have issues with it based on their internet connection.
Hmm.
I believe they were saying 5 megabytes per second was kind of what you needed for it to work, but some people were saying that they were having problems with with a faster connection. So it's definitely something to try out on a trial first if that's what someone's wanting to do. But it's got tons and tons of PlayStation 3 games, and there's the possibility of PSP games showing up on it,
They
or
they do.
potential. Oh, they have them now?
Yeah, I bought 1 month of it, so I was just trying to hear what your opinion was because
Oh, sorry.
yeah, no, you were fine. You were fine. No, that was perfect because some people might not know. I thought it played well. I was okay with it because PlayStation 3, oh, that's where I spent so much time.
Oh
And
yeah.
Okay.
for me to be able to play a lot of those classic JRPGs that were on PlayStation 3, they were on PlayStation 3 and the PSP, amazing. I think $12 a month is fair value. Um, Actually, I think it's better value than that, but I think it works. It works for me. I don't have any issues.
Yeah, because you can do it. Well, from what you're saying, yeah, because it's on the computer. You can do it on any of the consoles, the handheld device. You can take any of those games you played on the PlayStation 3. You can take anywhere with you.
Wait, PlayStation Now is you can stream to a computer now too?
Yep,
Yep.
on
The
Where the hell have I
computer
been? I haven't heard of that.
the computer came out. The computer one came out just last week, I believe.
Yep.
Oh,
And you can. They say you're supposed to use the. It's like a DualShock controller because that's what it's built for. But you can
mhm.
use any of the controllers on it.
I use the
That's
Xbox
yeah,
controller. I linked it in Skype if you want to click it, take a look. But
that's super cool. I didn't know about that. 'Cause, I tried the PlayStation Now on my PS4, and my internet apparently is not good enough. I think I did the speed test and I got like 20 or 30 down, so it's not amazing. I live in kind of a shitty old building, but it just couldn't hang, so I didn't bother with it. I love
try
the
the
idea.
try the trial on PC. You might get a
Yeah,
different experience.
It
And
seems to run a little nicer on the PC from what people are saying.
it's kind of like On Live. Do you guys remember that?
Coming on live.
No.
On Live. It was like the first video game streaming service.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Gosh, you guys have me
No.
searching everything. I'm like, I've never heard of half this stuff.
This was like the first. It was like
Oh,
the precursor to PlayStation Now. I think they actually bought them and using their technology. You guys, yeah.
Hmm.
oh,
It
it
was the
came
same
to an
idea.
end. That looks interesting.
Yeah, so I tried that. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I like the idea. Once bandwidth gets good enough where you can do it reliably, that'll be awesome. Fantastic.
I agree. Or you could come move to where I live, where we have gigabyte upload and download.
So I'm
Yeah,
I'm in Seattle, and our connections are usually pretty good up here. But my building's kind of old. But I am very close to Canada, so if I ever need to escape, we'll just
Well,
go right up there.
it's only in one area in Canada. I'd tell you, but then you'd know exactly where I live, and someday I'm going to be famous, so that
There's only one
it's
person
not
in
good to
that
give
town.
out my home details yet.
I don't need your exact address. Just your zip code. That's fine.
God, isn't
I
that
just
the same
need
thing?
the last four numbers on your credit card and
Yeah.
the little couple ones on the back.
Oh, well, let me get it here for you.
But
But yeah,
oh, I just blinked. I had something to say. I don't remember anymore.
I believe it had something to do with spaghetti.
everybody's
I
losing their
remember now.
See?
Went to
Well,
Canada. It was
yes.
amazing, by the way. Secondly, I want to go to Seattle. That's on my bucket list.
Oh, it's awesome up here, man.
Like, so I'm in Florida myself, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
like, hey, it's all right.
New Jersey's pretty
Too
boring.
humid for me.
But man, Canada, it's like America's internet. I don't know why they just don't. I don't know. America, for some reason, has no interest in upgrading internet.
Well, it depends on where you are. There's some places where they have like Google Fiber, which is
Yeah.
awesome. And then there's, I think Telus has their own now as well. Or is it Rogers? One of the two. Where, because I think in Texas, they have one half is like Google Fiber, and then the other half is Rogers Gigabyte or something like that, and they're like always competing at each other.
It'd be
Well-
nice to have some competition, man. I'm stuck with Comcast, and that's my option. That's what I've got.
Oh wow, I've never even heard of Comcast.
You are lucky, my friend.
Don't research.
Don't research it. Yeah.
I'm gonna Google Comcast, see if it's still a thing. It used to be like a, sometimes they do that on Reddit, where like they upvote a picture enough to where that becomes the search result when you Google it.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. When you Google Comcast, like one of the first results is a swastika. Right.
Okay, now I have to know. Next
Good.
time, I'm gonna definitely make sure that we can get like, yeah, it is definitely there.
So that's how much people like Comcast in America.
I like it.
They did the same thing with the console a while ago when they had a picture of a potato.
Oh man, but I think
Best segue ever. But
Yeah, we can segue.
Speaking
in-
of segues,
Segue.
go ahead. Dan. Sorry.
Yeah, so the next one, I don't know if you guys had anything, but do you guys have anything specific you guys wanted to bring up? I know we covered wide ranges of topics, but this is really the part of the show where you guys get to talk about whatever you've been thinking about in the gaming world, or yeah.
Well, I've got this dictionary I wanted to read to you guys, if that's okay.
yes, I'm ready.
Now,
No,
for me, man,
I can one better you.
Yeah?
Intro to supply chain.
what's that?
Intro to supply chain textbook.
Oh
no,
god,
no, that's fine.
that sounds even worse.
Oh, I'm getting tired just hearing about it.
Eventually, you get the words like in the dictionary. You eventually get the words like butt and boobs and stuff, and that's interesting. But
I know
yours-
I'd be sitting at the edge of my seat for that one. Ass has got to come quick.
A has some solid words too, but I won't get into them. No, from really, the only thing I'm waiting on right now. You guys watch South Park?
Oh, yeah, you're about
I
to
know
go
what you're
exactly
looking
where I
for.
want you to go. Go ahead.
So I'm not gonna talk about the new season, but I wanted to mention is that episode where Carton freezes himself when he's waiting for the Wii to come out. You guys
Not
remember
where I
that?
thought you were going with
Yep.
this, but okay.
No. I gotta keep on your toes, man. No, but like waiting for the Destiny expansion to come out.
Okay.
I feel like Cartman. I want to go find some snow and freeze myself until the week and a half goes by and the expansion's here.
I
What?
would like to point out to you that they are currently doing studies on how to make that work because they have never yet got it to actually work successfully. They have people frozen, but they haven't unthawed them yet because they will die.
Semantics. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
You'll never get to play it if that's what you do.
No, but that's just how I feel. Like the one thing about Bungie that they've been doing with Destiny is they announce stuff way in advance. They give you leaks, little details here and there, and it's like 6 months of, oh my god, I'm so hyped, I can't wait. And it
Too
really,
much hype to handle.
Well,
Yeah, it
6
really-
months isn't a bad time frame.
just for me personally, because we're still playing the game, so you want to
Okay,
play
that's
it and enjoy it. But then at the time, you're like, why am I playing this right now? There's nothing new for me to do. I want to play this new stuff. I don't know. It's a really weird thing. I'm not good at waiting. I don't have patience for that. I just want it to be here now so I can play it and be a happy guy. But it's, man, the wait is driving me insane.
So what's coming in that expansion? As someone who's never played Destiny,
Oh God.
what
Guns.
like what's changing? Why should I sit down, go buy a console and buy Destiny?
Because if you don't, then it means you hate fun.
Yeah, you hate fun, hate freedom.
Yeah.
No, so Destiny I won't go too far into it because I can talk all day about it because I'm a Destiny nerd. But it's kind of the mix up between Halo, like first person shooter mechanics.
Okay.
So, there is player versus player, and that's very well fleshed out and pretty well balanced and a lot of fun, right? And that's what a lot of the multiplayer for Halo is, player versus player,
Okay.
But then there's a whole other side of it where it's player versus environment, PvE, that plays more like an MMO, like a WoW.
Okay.
So there are lots of dungeons to go through with bosses and mechanics and puzzles and that kind of thing. And you do this all cooperative, player groups of 3 or groups of 6. But the biggest thing that Destiny does that is really awesome is raids. They have raids. So if any of you guys played WoW, you remember playing Molten Core or Karazhan or any of that stuff, they have the equivalent, but it's a first-person shooter. And their raids have been amazing. There's been 3 out so far. And the last one they put out, the mechanics were insanely difficult to figure out. It was just a lot of fun. Like, one of the best experiences I've had in gaming is doing that with my friends, 5 other friends. But there is a new raid, as well as lots of guns and new armor, all the normal stuff that comes with an expansion, right? But the new raid is coming out, and it looks like so much fun, and I cannot wait to play it. So the PvE content is amazing. The PvP content is really interesting, but there's a lot of new stuff coming, and it looks like they nailed it. All the feedback we've been giving them over the last few expansions, it sounds like they've been taking it to heart and giving us what we want. I can't wait.
So, going off again, I've never played Destiny, so I have a lot of questions to ask, and you guys let me know if I need to shut up. But
Shut up.
did they did they find a way to make it? To me, it seems like the console version of WoW. So like they have done, it's like a console MMO to some extent. And is that what keeps people playing, the MMO-ness of it? Because it has a lot of, there's the loot grind, there's the dungeons to figure out. It has kind of the grindiness of, let's say, a WoW, but as a first-person shooter.
I don't think calling it a console MMO does it justice.
Okay.
I didn't really know where I was going with that, but that's my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Because it's an MMO, like you're right, it has those mechanics. There's a little bit of a grind. Probably not as bad as WoW, but it has the shooter mechanics, which they nailed it. The shooter mechanics are, I don't want to say perfect, but they're fantastic. Like, it feels like the best shooter I've ever played. And that's saying a lot, So you can go in and just run around shooting stuff, and that's a lot of fun. So on top of, even if you do nothing else, just going on patrol, which is like the common area, you can go out in the world. You just go out and patrol and just shoot stuff and have a ton of fun because it feels so nice, and the abilities and grenades and stuff feel great.
Okay, gotcha. So what do you think about everyone who wants there to be a Destiny 2? Is it time for them to go ahead to make another one, or should they keep just adding expansions to this one?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, how do you feel? Where do you stand on it?
Bungie's been pretty open about that. So it sounds like this expansion will be the last expansion before Destiny 2 comes out. They've had this whole roadmap planning how the expansions will go. So I guess this expansion is a good one because it's the first one where they dropped support for the last console generation.
Okay.
So this new expansion will no longer work on the 360 and will no longer work on the PS3. So with that, they're bringing a lot of features that they couldn't support on the old ones, which is great.
Okay.
So I'm hoping when Destiny 2 comes out, which is everybody's kind of thinking next year, sometimes probably next September, So I'm hoping that with the next one being current gen only, we'll be able to see a lot of cool stuff that we haven't seen yet. I'm really hyped for that. I think it's good they delayed it because if they try to do it right now, it's in a really weird time with the PS4 Pro coming out and last gen support finally going away. I think they did it right by delaying it and trying to do it as good as they could.
Okay.
If you're going to do any research on the topic too, be careful because there's a difference between Destiny 2 and Destiny 2.0. Where
what do you mean? Wait, what?
Destiny 2.0 was an update, I believe, that came out really close to when the last expansion came out, where they were all talking about, oh, Destiny 2.0, and then a lot of people mistook that as Destiny 2, as in they were making a new game.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
if you
you're
see
totally right.
2.0, then that has to do with an update for Destiny. But if you see Destiny 2, then that has to do with the new Destiny.
Yep. Nailed it.
So, Red Pen, first 2 comments to you. One, blue pen, green ink. Blue is spelled wrong.
Yeah.
And on Twitch chat, I just wanted to,
But, you know.
Buell pen. Yeah, making my username for Twitch. I didn't spell check it.
I mean, it's not too late to go change it. Just...
Oh, I'm changing mine first. I'm going to be blue pen.
No, I actually looked it up. Apparently, I can't.
But
Oh, you can't?
I can't. Apparently, Twitch used to give away raffles in which people who win it can change their name, but they stopped doing it a while ago. So I'm stuck with a misspelled.
Can you
blue.
delete your account and then remake it?
I can, but I don't feel like it.
That is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't sell that. I could see that as a feature Twitch would sell. Sell the fact that you could change your name or buy an unban from a channel. I'm surprised they don't do that. I don't know how much Twitch you guys watch.
Well, to put in a feature that changes someone's names is actually a fair amount of work, because there's a lot of stuff that goes in where when you create your account, it's got a specific name, and that's how a whole bunch of stuff references your account, and it kind of goes into all the code. And so then when you go to change your name, then all that stuff has to be changed with it, and it's annoying. But if you set it up ahead of time, then it can work. But sometimes it's more of a hassle to have the ability to change your name,
Yeah,
which explains the raffle thing.
Yeah, maybe sometime in the future when they have like a lazy Sunday, I might do it.
Or if you
I
have
wish I
kids,
could.
just make them do it.
That's true.
Change my name for me on Twitch.
Do my
supper
bidding,
un-
minions.
Yeah, no supper until you return.
I wish I could change my PSN name. That's something
Where's it
everybody's
now?
wanted for. It's Kintertainment.
Oh, I thought it was
So
gonna
it's
be
not
something
bad.
really weird.
Yeah, it's like Butthole Surfer 69. No, it's not bad. I like it. I set up this whole persona. And I was hoping to maybe make it match, but I don't want to change it because I don't want to start all over on everything.
See, I was lucky enough. My gamer tag's been Armit King since I was like 15, and I just took it all the way, and it's just original enough that it's not everywhere. So I did it everywhere but Twitter, but that was a mistake. And I've got too many. I don't want to start over with followers and stuff. So
Yeah.
I worked hard for my 10 followers.
Works hard for the money.
When you first brought up the stuff about the South Park, I thought you were going to talk about the fractured but whole.
That's what I thought he was going to talk about.
So I was thinking about it, but so we're talking about the expansion, but so my channel, I've been trying to do some Let's Plays, and I just either don't have time or there's not enough interest for me to keep going. Like if 4 people watch a video I spent 4 hours doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay,
kinda
this
tough
is the part of the podcast I like. Let's talk about this.
If people aren't going to watch my content, I'm not making it for them. Basically what I got out of that. No.
kind of, but like a lot of my content is Destiny, so like my Destiny videos get between 30 and 100 views, which is obviously not very much in the grand scheme of things, but it's something. It means the people that subscribe to me watch them because it's something they're interested in. But I've got 140 subs right now. Like I said, not very much, but
See, this guy's the most popular out of.
Oh man. No, so if I make a video and out of those 140 people, like 10 people watch them, and you can look at the analytics and they only watch like the first 3 minutes and they give up. I'm like, it's kind of disheartening, and it makes me, unless I really am interested in playing that game, like that's how my No Man's Sky videos are. I put out a couple of them and nobody watched them, and nobody watched them for very long. And I thought they'd really be popular. People would really like them, but nobody watches them. So if it was a game I was really hyped to play, I'd still keep making the games or making the videos because I really wanted to. But No Man's Sky is one of those iffy games where like I enjoyed it, but do I enjoy it more than this other stuff I could be playing and recording? You know, I have to make that decision because I don't have unlimited time. But yeah, that South Park game is the next one I want to do for sure. Like when that comes out, I am gonna play the entire goddamn thing, record the whole thing, and it's gonna be amazing. I cannot wait.
So
you'll have to send us all links to it then, so we can watch it too.
Yeah, totally.
Or we'll just subscribe to your channel.
That's a terrible idea. Why would you do that?
Sub for sub.
Oh God.
No.
So let me ask the real question, especially in your circumstance, and feel free to not want to explain it here. Are you concerned with, let's say Destiny stops being popular?
Mm-hmm.
Then what? I mean, I know you said you don't want. What are you worried about being typecasted?
So yes and no. The Destiny community is super popular.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys know who Mr. Fruit is?
No.
Nope.
He's a. Well, I'm kind of surprised that nobody does.
For the sake of this conversation, yes, I totally know.
Yeah. So Mr. Fruit is a YouTuber and probably one of my favorite ones. He does Let's Plays mostly. Majority of his content is Destiny. I feel like that's what really got him pop. He's at maybe 700,000, 800,000 subs now.
Oh, nice.
So really popular. You know, he's no PewDiePie, but you know what I mean. He's making a living doing it and probably doing just fine. But you know, he got his big break doing Destiny mostly. He did a lot of Destiny videos and they're really entertaining. But he does Let's Plays on everything now. So I feel like with him, Destiny could go away and he would be just fine because he's entertaining no matter what he does. He has a lot of Overwatch, a lot of random videos. So eventually I would like to be at the same place. You know, I like Destiny a lot. And it's helpful to start with that niche and get people interested in your channel because people that like that stuff want to watch that stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But eventually I want to not have to rely on that. If, you know, Destiny is supposed to be around for 10 years, supposedly. If one day it just kind of shits the bed and no longer comes out, I want to be able to fall back and do other entertaining content. So, but I got to get started somewhere.
Just promise boobs at the beginning of every video.
have that thumbnail of the half naked girl. That'll work.
The clickbait, it's the worst.
But yeah, because the only reason I think of it is because this might be someone you guys have never heard of, but the Yogscast, they used to do a whole bunch of Minecraft videos.
Yeah.
And that's honestly where I got sucked into YouTube. I used to watch their videos all the time. But once Minecraft stopped being as popular, they're trying to change still right now, but they get a third of the views that they normally get. And
They're kind of seen as a Minecraft thing, though.
Exactly, but
that's tough because Minecraft is it's one of those things where people see it and they either get kind of turned off from it or they're like, oh, let's check this out. Like, there doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground with it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's
like,
go ahead.
Oh, see, like I have no interest in Minecraft. I wouldn't watch a Minecraft video. If I went to their channel and saw a bunch of Minecraft stuff, I'd move on, even if they had great content. You know what I mean? So there's definitely some of that there.
So it's building your game around your channel around one game. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. To me, that's why I do news and I try and do a little bit of this game, a little bit of that game, and mention a whole lot of different games because I get nervous about even making my Twitch channel or my YouTube channel about one game specifically because that means I'm tied to the success of this game.
Well, with the one guy that he was talking about that has the 800,000 subscribers now, his content is still growing and he's expanding into other places where the Yogscast, by the sounds of it, once they started to dwindle or once the views and everything started to go down, that's when they started trying to expand.
Sure.
So they're trying to expand into a market that's already, they're trying to expand when they're already collapsing, I guess.
And they've already rooted themselves in one community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And Minecraft, I guess Minecraft's a horrible example because the primary audience for Minecraft is significantly younger than the primary audience for Destiny. And just going off of type
it's not a
game
bad
it is.
example though. It fits really good.
I think that's the difference, like, between selling your channel based on your content.
Uh-huh.
Like, if I have all Destiny content, then people that are interested in Destiny will come to my channel and maybe watch my content. And that versus selling the channel on yourself, on your personality.
Okay.
So if people like you and like your voice and like how you talk, they will come watch whatever the hell you have to show. Like Total Biscuit. You know, he does.
That's who.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. But anyways,
He does stuff all over the place, but he has such a beautifully delicious voice. I will listen to him say whatever because he's such an entertaining guy to listen to, you know?
So Hangster just brought up a point about he's been seeing too much games that come out focusing on their multiplayer, kind of like Overwatch, R6S, and
Rainbow Six
Battlefield
Siege.
1. And what I knew that, totally knew that. And I think it's something that we're seeing a lot. Sorry, this is kind of going off topic. I just thought it was a really good
This
comment.
is the point where
'Cause
you
it-
talk about what you feel.
Because it's something more and more people are starting to make these comments about how they're tired of seeing all these multiplayer games. But I think we're never going to have it where the focus is going to go away from that, because multiplayer games are going to always be selling a lot better than single player games. And I say that because if you have a game that you can play by yourself, or if you have a game that you can play with your friends, it's going to be a lot more exciting to play with your friends. And the added bonus to that is when you're playing with your friends, if I have a friend come over and we play Little Big Planet and we both love the game, then there's a lot better of a chance now that when he goes home, he's going to say, hey, I should buy Little Big Planet. So then he now has that and he can share that with other people. And that's one of the great things about multiplayer games for developers. And so you're going to see the focus on multiplayer, if anything, just keep growing and growing.
So you work closely in the game, or you went to school for art design, gaming art design, 3D art design, right?
Yeah, to do like 3D modeling.
Okay, so do they cover these type of things with you, these subjects like this? I know you weren't in game design,
No,
so
we don't cover this stuff in the actual company. Like there's meetings and there's stuff
Yeah.
that we hear about information, but it's something that we studied a lot in our classes when I was going to school for it, because it was kind of we had a general thing to do, and it's also just kind of, I guess part of it's also kind of just my experience with games as well, where there's so much. That's why we see all of these tournaments and stuff for these multiplayer games, because there's more people engaging with it at once.
yeah.
And like you won't see as big of hype over like a tournament for a single player game where it's just, I mean, there was all that Mario tournaments,
Speed running stuff.
speed running stuff, but it's the big thing with the multiplayer is it's just a lot more engaging.
So then, with that being said, I'm going to go back to game prices here.
Oh, sorry.
Is for a multiplayer only game, is $60 worth it? Would you pay $60 for a multiplayer only? And I only say that because a lot of people will say no.
I think it depends on the game itself. If it provides enough content for $60, then it's worth it. But a great, fantastic example of this is the new Star Wars Battlefront game.
Oh, God.
It came out at $60, and it's a fantastic game. Like, it's beautiful and everything is really good about it, but it doesn't have the content within it to keep you engaged. It's just running over the same things over and over and over again. But if you go to some of these other games like if Call of Duty was only a multiplayer game, it could still get away with being $60 because it's got all of the different kinds of modes in it. There's all of the customization, everything that kind of goes in there with it, that just gives it that much more of an experience.
See, and I don't know how true that one is, because if they were to say Call of Duty right now, multiplayer only, $60, I think there would be outrage. And it'd be outrage from people who probably play 2 hours of the story and go.
Yeah, well, that's because the people are already used to getting that kind of, like if it was,
That
it may have been it may have been a bad example, but if there was another game that came out that had all of this multiplayer stuff that Call of Duty has and all of the maps that, like the promise of all these things that are always being added to it, and it didn't have that campaign or storyline to go with it to begin with, then they could get away with it. Just because of all this
probably
stuff.
true. Because Overwatch is $50 multiplayer only, no single player story. Gets away with it, and people love it. I just would like to see. I just would like to see how the game would play if it was $60. Would people still be so eager to play? And I think a game like Battleborn to me was 100% worth $60, and I think it was $30 at launch, maybe.
No, it was sick. It was full price.
It was full price. I think that game was worth it.
Man, the story campaign in that was a lot of fun. Like, it was worth $10 alone just to see that intro cartoon thing. I don't know. It was amazing. I loved it. But I mean, Battleborn didn't get saved because it didn't know what it was. It was
That's true.
It's part MOBA, part first-person shooter. So it's trying to be League of Legends meets. Well, I'm assuming League of Legends or Dota. I don't know much about the two of those or what the difference is.
They're the same thing. It's okay.
Yeah. They had the mid-game level up system where you can level up and get your perks and kind of do your own build stuff, kind of like Paragon or LOL or whatever. But they had kind of the shooter aspects, so the mechanics were great. Nobody cared about the story. You played through it once and it was that. But once you got the game, it was a lot of fun to play with your friends. But it wasn't a big selling point. Nobody cared about the storyline, out of the box.
Well, I think the problem with that game marketing was horrible. And I think because when you're marketing against something like Destiny, you've got to go all out and you got to make sure people. And it was crazy because Overwatch would go into open beta and Battleborn would go into open beta, but only for the weekend. So now you're asking everybody to choose, really, even though they really didn't have to, but people feel like they have to choose. That's why people don't like iPhones and Android phones.
Mm-hmm.
And because they make us feel like we have to choose, and people just chose Overwatch and never looked back at Battleborn. And again, like you said, it's kind of sad that it was on a Humble Bundle literally a month or two after it released. But yeah.
And that's kind of tough because, I mean, you think about it. Okay, yeah, Blizzard, huge track record of making great quality games. I mean, every game Blizzard puts out, whether you like the game or not, the quality is there. The art design is excellent. It's very well optimized. It runs on almost any system. You can run WoW on Red's laptop. You know what I mean? So same idea. But then you have Gearbox, who for the most part, they did Borderlands. Everybody loved Borderlands. But then they also did that terrible Alien game, didn't they?
Did they do Colonial Marine?
I think so.
I don't know who made that.
They might have.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google this shit. But so Gearbox obviously did Borderlands, which was hugely successful. But they don't have that history of.
But continue.
Yeah, they don't, and they did Duke Nukem Forever. So, come on.
Two questionable titles.
Yeah. So I mean, if I had to base purely on the history of those two companies, I know I can buy a Blizzard game and it's gonna be a solid ass game.
Yeah, that's true.
I talk about BioWare. BioWare is the same way to me, I think. So even just look at those two people that are Blizzard fanboys. You know they're out there. They'll buy the game purely for that. So Battleborn, if they really wanted to compete, it really needed to step up, and it did not. You're totally right.
Well, another thing to add to that as well is anybody, well, not any, most, pretty much if you call yourself a gamer, Blizzard is a household name.
Oh yeah.
Like anybody knows about it. Gearbox, that's a name where a majority of people will know. And if you didn't say that they'd made Borderlands, I would have been like, oh, I recognize that name, but I don't really know what they made.
Yeah, that's true. Us, we're YouTubers and we're interested in this stuff, and not everybody's like that. Not everybody's gonna know that off the top of your head. You're totally right.
You can say that again if you'd like. It makes me feel special.
What was your name again? Sorry, I had to kick you back down to size a little bit. You're getting your ego's getting up there.
Is there any other topic we want to make sure we cover before we go into the what's coming up on everybody's channel? Is there anyone got anything else specific?
indie games, maybe.
All right, in regards to.
Well, I can bring in multiple points like price.
Okay.
It's definitely a lot cheaper than the 60 game mainstream games,
Oh yeah.
triple A's. And I just played like a pretty good puzzle game called Cognance, where you're just like a cog in like this giant world of cogs. It's a very confusing concept. It was actually pretty fun for a couple hours, and it was free. So
That's awesome.
I'm just gonna say I asked what you played, and you didn't say Cognate.
Fired.
You liar.
sorry.
You're off the team.
Sorry. I'll see myself out.
But no, go on.
So speaking of indie games and money and everything else we've been talking about, how do you guys feel about that Ark Survival expansion?
Oh,
What's
that's
that?
a good
I don't know
one.
what that is.
Okay, so
Ark
Oh, go
Survival
ahead.
is an early access game about surviving on an island with dinosaurs. So they've got all these mechanics for like building houses, structures, taming dinosaurs, raiding other people's bases, fighting these giant bosses. The game is still in early access, so it's not fully released yet, but they've just come out with a paid expansion to the game.
So
You serious right now?
yeah,
You're not making this up?
I'm not making it up.
100%.
It's the first time anything like this has ever happened too.
It should be the last, because that's awful.
But
Come on.
it's not going to be, and because it was the top seller on Steam for like
It
a
was.
week.
See, because what's tough about this is, yes, it's an early access game. It's not officially released yet, but this expansion has just doubled the content in the game itself. It's an entirely new map. There's entirely new structures that you can create. It's the amount. If the game was considered to be 100 hours to fully play through it, it's now 200 hours if you have the expansion.
The content
it's
for the
not
DLC
like-
is very negative. I'm looking at the Steam page right now.
Yeah, the game went from mostly positive. The night before that the expansion came out, it went from mostly positive all the way down to mostly negative. And then most of it is just people upset that the game's not fully out yet, but they've come out with an expansion.
Yeah, I mean, just on principle alone, I think that's a lot of horse shit, you
So-
know.
Go on.
It's-
My bad.
No, go ahead. That was the end of my
Oh,
point. It's shit.
So should there even be early access? Like, I think early access is kind of difficult. Games come out of early access all the time, but it's hard to say when a game is done because you can always patch a game now. So a game is truly never done. So
Well, my favorite example for this is Prison Architect.
I love that game, by the way.
When it was released, they still kept on adding stuff onto it, so it was kind of never done until like last month. I think they released their final update, and it's been out for like a year and a half, maybe.
Well, because the thing with Ark is there's certain features that they've promised that aren't quite out yet, but the game, like, they're within a couple weeks of it being completely released, so it's still kind of in that borderline gray area of, is it okay or not? And sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. That's totally legit. I was just getting another good example is Broforce. That was in early access for a long time, and that released. And when it was released finally, it felt like a completed game. You know, not a lot of bugs. The quality was great. So I think the early access worked really well for them.
So is it okay because they're supposed to release in a couple weeks? To me, it's just they should have waited then, if that's the case.
Yeah, they definitely could have waited, but personally, I haven't gotten the expansion yet, and I plan on getting it. I feel it was okay because they could have just released the expansion as its own game. There's so much content in it. I mean, it does suck that there's certain things I'm looking forward to that all this time they spent on the expansion could have been spent on the actual game itself, pushing it forward.
Yeah.
But it feels like an entirely new game that they've put out with it, and I think that's why I'm okay with it.
Does the game feel completed? Like, does it feel like an early access game, or does it?
It doesn't feel like
oh,
it's early access anymore. It feel like when you play it, it feels like it's complete. It still has its problems where it doesn't run the greatest on a lot of different computers, but that's because it's pretty heavy on them. So you need a really decent graphics card and stuff like that to run it on average settings.
Yeah, not me.
But apart from that, it feels finished.
So it seems like it's just semantics, like between it being early access and full release. Which I guess makes it a little bit better in my eyes, but just the details of it being early access technically, and then having it's as somebody who's not played it and knows nothing about it, just seeing that on Steam would turn me off from it completely.
So for everyone
You're
here,
100%
I
right.
have to ask the question: what do you define as a complete game? And I know that's a hard thing to answer, really, but what makes a game complete to the point that it should no longer be in early access?
When the features that they've said are going to be in the game, like when they say that we're creating an early access game, these are all the features that are going to be in it. Once those features are finished and into the game, then I would consider it out of early access.
Okay.
I would go one step beyond that. You can't quantify the number of bugs in a game, because there can be a million tiny bugs that you don't even realize are bugs. Like, I think Fallout's a good example of that. All the Bethesda games are genuinely pretty good, but you run into random weird crap all the time. A guy floating in the air, or a cow going through a door. You know what I mean? But it's not game breaking. It kind of adds to the charm of the game. So those bugs usually aren't that big of a deal, especially if you played other Bethesda games. But there are lots of games I've played that have been full releases and have game-breaking bugs where the save game won't load, or you can't progress past the story point if you do something wrong. That stuff to me obviously is pretty huge. I feel like a lot of people forget about those bugs from trying to go live.
See, I would go a couple steps back and say, depending on the type of game it is, as long as the core features are there of the game. Not all these stretch goals that companies are doing, or we sold 1 million copies, so let's try and get all this extra in. If you've got a base game in, and you can play the entire base game start to finish, you have a full game. And like for Ark, I thought Ark was done when they released the Battle Royale mode. I thought that game was done then, and then they should have released it and then added everything else incrementally.
Well, that's also tough because that was created as kind of a separate thing as their quick attempt to kind of get in on the esports market.
Yeah.
So they like that was technically also in early access as well.
What it comes down to, really, all this stuff is just semantics. If a game is fun and has a solid amount of content, people will play it. It also helps if it's not a buggy mess, or if it has interesting features. All that stuff is on top of those two basic things. If it's fun, it has a decent amount of content. So Ark, it's whatever. I don't play it mostly because I don't have time.
It's a big time commitment.
Yeah, so I mean that's awesome. If the people who love that game are getting a ton of new content, I don't give a shit if it's early access. People are having fun with it, whatever. People are going to be salty in Steam reviews all the time. That's kind of how it goes.
So if we voted, so I was thinking about this actually when this came out. If us as gamers voted with our wallet on one title, I think we could change everything. Like if no one pre-ordered something huge, like this next Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
If they had zero pre-orders, we'd never have to deal with a pre-order bonus ever again, I think.
Every year there's an actual, I don't remember what day it is, but there's an actual day that it's like almost like a national holiday where you're not supposed to buy gas so that you can prove to the gas companies they don't own us. Guess what? Most people still buy gas on that day.
But then the day after, we all need gas.
I mean, it's different because you need gas to drive your car. We don't need games to have fun. But I think it's the same kind of concept where people are still going to buy it.
So I'm torn because, as a gamer, I totally agree. I've been burned by pre-orders before. Pre-order game comes out to be shitty, like XCOM: The Bureau. I don't know if you guys remember that game.
That was before I got into XCOM.
Yeah, see, I played XCOM, the first one, and then pre-ordered that one because I was hyped. I was like, oh, it's gonna be Mass Effect, but an XCOM. No, it was crap. It was crap. Waste of time.
Cool ideas, but
yeah. So I've been burned. But so the flip, as a gamer, I don't like the idea of pre-orders. It's like I'm paying for something I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, you try to look at it from a business perspective. The people that make games for us are businesses. So part of that is not everybody's a giant game company. Even big game companies like I doubt Blizzard would have to worry about it. They got Activision with them. But even some of the smaller ones like Gearbox. Gearbox is not the biggest company in the world. If they have a couple of games that flop, they could be gone. But pre-orders play a lot into that business part of it. They've got to have a little bit of the money coming in to keep their company going until the game releases, or enough to justify putting all this extra time in to make sure the polish is there because they know lots of sales are going to happen. So I get it from a business perspective and I get it from a gamer perspective, but it's really hard to justify the two. So I kind of just go,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is related to the topic of what we're going on with, but one of the other great thing, well, not great things, one of the big things about pre-orders is it's a way for a company to tell how well they're doing with promoting. So if they open up pre-orders and nobody's buying any pre-orders, then they can look at, be like, okay, well, clearly our marketing is doing something wrong here. And then they can kind of take that and then start to make changes for them to start promoting effectively before the game's actually launched. Because if they don't do the pre-orders and they just launch the game, then once the game's launched, all this money has already been spent on shipping games everywhere, but now nobody knows about the game. So it's a way that they can...
I see it from that point, but what about, okay, so then you start to get things like, and I have two examples. Tales of Symphonia, when it released on PC, it wasn't Symphonia. You got Tales of Symphonia for free when you pre-ordered the other Tales game. Or or for this Call of Duty, you get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 remastered when you pre-order the new Call of Duty. To me, that to me is scummy, in my opinion. That you shouldn't reward. I guess there is a reason for them to reward you for pre-ordering, but you shouldn't I don't think they should be trying to incentivize people to pre-order. But again, I get it because when people pre-order, it's like a promised sale. So you could say we have these many people who are going to buy, so we need to make this many. I get what you're saying. I just can't. I can't get behind it. Like, why would you pre-order anything on a PC? It's never going to sell out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it also has to do with, it's stuff. Never mind. It's stuff you've already brought up about the money coming in. It's just pre-orders. It's kind of a mix between, like I said, with the promotion stuff. Like that's actually one of the reasons why promotion or pre-orders have started, is just to see the feedback from it. And then it's like what you said before, with it helps kind of bring money into the company ahead of time. Otherwise, the only way to get the money is to wait until a little later on. And sometimes that little extra cash at the beginning kind of helps them finish their product. And there's so much that goes on with the pre-orders. We could have an entire podcast dedicated to just talking.
Totally. It makes me think of Tesla, like those electric cars. Taking pre-orders for that special model coming out in 2 years or whatever.
Oh, I kind of want one so bad, but
yeah, totally, yeah. I won't get too far into it. It just reminds me of that.
But at that, we'll just move on now because we're almost hitting that 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and we can go one by one. We can go clockwise again. As far as what's going on in everybody's channel, time for selfless, shameless promotion.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's kind.
Yes.
RedPen, go ahead. You're first.
So it's time for that shameless plug.
Yep, shameless plug.
So my next video, as I said at the beginning, is going to be like a parody on prank channels. It's going to be called like 8, 10, or whatever mailbox pranks, and they're just going to be stupid, ridiculous pranks that doesn't make any sense. And other than that, I only have like 2 videos in mind. And because I'm playing Diablo 2, I'm thinking about doing something with that. I just don't know what though. And also, there's this show called Vikings.
No, yeah, I heard it was good.
Yeah, and I'm like working on a what's the difference and the Battle of Paris, which is the season 3 finale. So I already have the script done. I just kind of have to make the video.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's kind of all I have really.
Nice.
All
Nice,
right.
man.
Spin. Why spin instead of spawn? First of all, why Spentaneous instead of spontaneous? and then go on to what you're doing this week. I was just curious.
So I'm a very spontaneous person. I surprise myself just as much as I surprise other people.
Okay.
So there are many times things will just go on and I won't know what's going on, and it fit nicely with Spentaneous because my name's Spencer. So I just went like
get it,
mixed them
Makes
together,
sense.
and now I got my own special little thing.
Boom.
But what's going on with my channel is Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a DM'd for probably 7 or 8 years. So I've built a campaign. I've got a bunch of guys. We're just making characters, so we're getting everything ready to go to do a bunch of recording of that, and we're going to tell you guys the story of a lifetime. But most importantly, here at Spentaneous, our number one priority is providing relevant, high-quality content for our viewers. So what we've done is we've built a time machine so that we can go back in time and review games before they're even released so that we can then come back and give you hands-on experience with the very first reviews of games.
Is there a video for that out yet?
Nope, that's coming out just next week.
Okay.
Or last week, you've got your time machine.
Well, I
right?
mean, it's great because you see some of these older games, like, for example, Army of Men. You know, what's with this game? Well, we get to use our time machines to go back and review that game before it's even released. And then
That sounds
come
pretty
back,
awesome,
and
man.
then come back and share it with you.
That's a good idea. Like
like
that's
So
Spam me when you put the first one out. I want to see that.
I'll have to do that.
I mean, spam me like 20 or 30 messages. I'm serious.
Oh, I will.
I'm interested. That's actually
I would
sounds
just-
crazy idea.
Yeah, I'm
will
interested in
build-
that too.
How's your DMing going to go? Are you going to do it online, or are you playing online, or are you all playing in person?
So we're all playing over Roll20, and then I'm recording it so that I can then go in, add music after, add in different voices, and kind of take, because you see a lot of D&D online where they've got like cool little music and people are going through, but sometimes there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's kind of boring, nothing's happening, so then I get to chop that stuff out and kind of spruce up the experience a little bit.
Awesome.
Let me know if you ever need an extra person, man.
I will write that down and keep you in mind. Right now we're at 5 people,
All
but
right.
depending on how things go, we may be expanding it to more. Because the more people, the more fun it is. So
Have you ever heard of It Me JP? You probably haven't. He's a Twitch streamer and he does a lot of Roll20 stuff. And he has. Do what?
I haven't. What'd you call him?
It Me JP. I'll send you a link to his YouTube channel, and you can see kind of how he does it.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I imagined it. He does it similar to how we are here, and then they just play that way. Let me find his YouTube channel. I don't want to get rid of this Halcyon because I added that to my wish list.
It's so good, dude.
Oh wow! Actually, they're doing it right now, so I'm going to go ahead and link it to you because they're playing it on this channel right now. But yes, but yeah, I'd be interested. Just keep that out there. But yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, we're getting that baseball feedback again.
Yeah,
there.
the game's gone.
I don't know why. I gotta figure that out.
It must be a really good game.
The wiring. I have kind of an old apartment, so maybe the wiring is screwing me. It's not shielded or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just jealous of your quality of content, so it's trying to ruin it.
So, Brother Ken, before you tell, Why are you brother Ken, but there's only one of you? Why?
How do you know there's only one of me?
Oh, good question.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh.
So, okay, so my name's Ken, Ken, right?
Okay.
I'm a musician. So 5-6 years ago, I was working with a buddy of mine as a producer, trying to figure out a name, like a stage name, something cool but not cheesy. You know what I mean? So we decided to go with Ken, Kin. So stupid, not a big change, but it was kind of interesting enough to use for, releasing stuff on iTunes or whatever,
Yeah.
So I wanted to stick with that theme because it's interesting and it's simple. So I decided I heard the term somewhere. I don't remember what it was. It was otherkin. I don't know much about
Tumblr.
it.
That's Tumblr.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I like the idea of it cracks me up, like the whole Macho Man Randy Savage is like, yo, brother, or like, Hulk Hogan, you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, brother Ken, yeah, brother, like super like noodly and metal. I don't know. It just kind of came to mind, and it hadn't been taken. I thought it was cool, so I went with it.
It does sound pretty sweet.
So what can we expect out of you going into the next week?
So coming this week, on my channel, there's a lot of metal, a lot of Destiny, a lot of metal. So I do original music for montages. I do death metal weapon reviews. My first one had a ton of views, but the second one should be out this week. I'm in the middle of wrapping it up and finishing the video, so hopefully it'll be done.
Weapon reviews like swords and axes,
yeah. So like in Destiny, there are guns. Different guns. The guns are really, really unique, kind of like weapons in Diablo.
Makes sense now. Okay.
So I'm sorry I wasn't clear enough on that. I'm sorry.
Unacceptable.
So there's very specific and unique weapons. So there's a lot of YouTube channels that do reviews on these guns. Like, oh, it's good for this. Don't do this. Blah, blah, blah. Normal weapon review. But I do it death metal style. I write my own music. The first one kind of sounded like Cannibal Corpse, and it came out really cool. I do subtitles for it. It's kind of funny and interesting, but I try to make the music good enough to where you want to listen to it on its own, hopefully. You know what I mean? So this next week I should have one of those out. It takes quite a long time to write the music, record it, and do the video and everything. On top of that, I do a lot of Destiny PvP.
Nice.
A lot of Destiny content, Destiny guides, normal stuff. I also have a few random Let's Plays in here. I did a few videos on Earth's Defense Force, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, that game was hilarious.
Yeah, I got a few videos on that, a few videos on No Man's Sky. I'll probably do some videos on the South Park game when it comes out. But this week is pretty much just my head exploding from hype for the expansion coming out next week. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, shameless self-promotion. Come to the channel, listen to some metal, watch me kill some people in Destiny, and that's about it.
All right, and I guess for my channel, I'm going to
end it here.
Of course, guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to upload this podcast in 2 parts, 1 hour each. First one will probably be tomorrow. The next one will be the day after that, and then I will out. Wow, I don't even know what I'm doing this week. Next week, Spentaneous, he told me exactly what I'm going to try and use some of the programs that he suggested because Windows Movie Maker has severely limited me in the amount of editing that I could actually do. So I'm going to try and change that up. And I'm probably going to play some of this. I'll have a video of my first impressions on Halcyon 6 because that actually looks interesting.
Yeah, it's a must get.
Other than that, any news that happens, I'll make sure to make a video about that, and that should be my channel this week.
Nice, dude.
When can we expect the next podcast?
Oh yes, cannot forget the next podcast. With this podcast, I saw a couple things I did wrong. So what I want to do is make a couple edits throughout the week. Add in an area in the middle. This big gray area in the middle was supposed to be where, as we talk about things, I could play a YouTube video of the things we're talking about. That was the reason for the blank space. But it'll be next Sunday, hopefully at 2 p.m., barring the people who should be there.
So that's starting at the same time that this one started at.
Yes, I would like to do the same time that this one starts. Hopefully I can find some consistency. with guests because, believe it or not, you guys were the easiest ones to work with, so we made it work.
Well, we are talented individuals.
And
we are the only
fucking
ones.
awesome.
But with that being said, that was yes. That'll be my channel next week.
Awesome, dude.
Follow everyone here on Twitter. If you search all these names, you'll find us all on Twitter. Follow us all, subscribe to us all on YouTube. Tons of videos coming out. And then
Don't forget to tell them that in the next podcast there may or may not be boobs. So if they want to see them, they should watch for the entirety of the video, so they won't miss it.
There's a 100% chance of boobs in the next podcast.
No. It's may or may not. We can't.
I'm predicting it.
Okay.
No,
that's
no. We're not specifying if it's man boobs.
no.
Well,
Look
yeah,
now.
we
now
are
they-
all boobs too. So I mean,
Can't give
boobs
away
are
all the
against
little
terms
details.
of service, so
you pushed me to it, man.
well, I guess it's happening, guys. You heard it here first.
Come prepared.
And then, but yeah, with that being said, I don't know if these guys got anything else to say, but this has been the Gamers Grind podcast, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Thanks a lot, guys. Nice talking to y'all. Had a lot of fun.
Goodbye.
I'll miss you.